We have Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams taking on Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. This is your Week 11, 2025 prediction and preview video. Now, this game can have huge implications down the line. Both of these teams are 7-2 entering this matchup, and they're in the same division. So after this week, whoever wins this game will have a lead in this division, and that can help them in the NFL playoffs because, as we all know, you win your division, you host a playoff game. But let's start off with the home team here, the LA Rams, one of the best teams in the NFL currently. Matthew Stafford is playing on another level. You can make the case right now that he is the MVP. 25 passing touchdowns. That's the league best at the moment, to just 2 interceptions with the 4th most passing yards in the NFL. In the last 3 games, he has put up video game numbers. Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 5 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Against the New Orleans Saints, 4 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And last week against the 49ers, yet again, 4 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And in this game against the 49ers, the Rams, they got revenge. We know what happened early this season. Thursday Night Football, they lost against the 49ers in overtime. But they won this game 42-26. When you face a team like Seattle, and they have an amazing head coach in Mike Macdonald, you have to pay attention to the little things here. Nick Rory on the back end of this defense has been all over this defense. He can play single high safety, closer to the line of scrimmage. They play a lot of big nickel. They have a lot of defensive backs on the field. They're top 5 in that usage rate. So you have to go out there and take advantage of those opportunities in front of you. The Los Angeles Rams, they have 2 very good running backs, Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. Kyren Williams last week, 2 rushing touchdowns, 73 rushing yards, average 5 yards a carry. Blake Corum, 56 rushing yards, average 4.3 yards a carry. But here's the problem. You may think that it's easy to run against Seattle, even though they have a lot of defensive backs on the field. They're 3rd in rushing defense, but you have to use motion to your advantage here. You have to have those motion patterns and keep this defense off balance to get the football to Puka Nacua, and the same with Devontae Adams, who will play in this game. He went down to injury last week. It was just a little oblique injury. It's nothing major. We know that Stafford can go out there and throw the football around, but you have to have a balanced offense here. You have to get the run game going and take advantage of those lighter players on the field. Nick Rory is a tough, physical football player, but he is not as physical as your normal linebacker. If you can have someone like Steve Avila push out to the next level, he can get contact on him that can open up more rushing lanes for Kyren Williams on the 2nd level and the 3rd level, and then you can work off of play action. And this is what the Rams have done this season. Matthew Stafford is leading the charge, but don't sleep on Kyren Williams. And this is my thing here with Kyren. If he can just take care of the football against the 49ers, early on this year, he had a major fumble in the red zone. They're driving down the field. They could potentially get a field goal or a touchdown, but he fumbled the football. And that was the case last year in the postseason against the Philadelphia Eagles. Be on lookout for him in this one with ball security. But in the last couple weeks, he's done a very good job of just taking care of the football. And one more thing to note when it comes to the Rams offense in terms of the run game here. If Kyren Williams doesn't have that pop early on, Sean McVay may wear down this defense. And then over time, here comes Kyren Williams for those big chunk plays on the ground mixed in with Blake Corum. Now, Puka Nacua here did injure his ankle a couple weeks ago against the Baltimore Ravens. He did miss a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Despite all of that, he has the 3rd most receiving yards in the NFL with 775, 4 receiving touchdowns. We know that Puka Nacua is an amazing football player, but I would have him inside the slot in this matchup to just keep Seattle honest here. You have him inside the slot. He can be that deep threat. He's not known for being a deep threat, but he's a big physical wide receiver. And underneath, you have Devontae Adams. The one thing with Sean McVay, he's moved Puka Nacua all over the field, and it helps out the run game as well because he is one of the best run blockers at the wide receiving position. But he will stack these wide receivers on top of each other, and it will give Devontae Adams a lot of room on the outside. That blocking with Puka Nacua is just phenomenal to have in an offense like this. It's an extended handoff, basically. So if the run game is not working out, easy screen pass. You have Puka Nacua out in front, the same with those offensive linemen and those tight ends. You can get 5 to 8 yards on those screen plays, and we've seen Sean McVay do this in the past with Jared Goff early on with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp many years ago when they won that Super Bowl against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's just the little things here. So if the run game is not working out into your favor, be on lookout for that. Tutu Atwell is still on IR right now, dealing with a hamstring injury. So you're thin at wide receiver behind Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. You do have Jordan Whittington. We'll see if he can actually step up big time in this matchup. But so far in the season, 12 receptions for 121 receiving yards. Here's the thing with Tutu Atwell. Look at what he did against the Indianapolis Colts early on this year. A major deep threat. He's not going to go out there every single week and give you 150 receiving yards, but he is so valuable with this team. So with them not having him as a deep threat could really hurt them in this matchup against Seattle. But I trust that Sean McVay will still find ways to find the little weak spots against this defense. And the offensive line here has been amazing, but they need to be even better in this matchup. Seattle, they can get off the quarterback with many different pass rushers. You have DeMarcus Lawrence, who is playing at an elite level right now. You have Derek Hall, tremendous pass rusher as well. Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, Boye Mafe, Uchenna Nwosu. They have a bunch of players that can put pressure on you from different angles here. So they need Alaric Jackson to continue to be a very good left tackle. Steve Avila has been a very good left guard. You have Kevin Dotson in the right tackle position and Rob at the right tackle position. So we'll see how the offensive line looks in this matchup against Seattle. I trust them, but they really need to be on their P's and Q's in this one to keep Matthew Stafford upright, because last week against the 49ers, the offensive line was amazing, but the 49ers have so many injuries in their front seven. This would be a true test for this offensive line, and the same with their front seven with Seattle. But take care of the football and stay ahead of schedule with Matthew Stafford, and you should be fine on the offensive end. But it will be a dogfight at the end of the day between these two head coaches and Sean McVay, and the same with Mike McDonald. Now, you look at the defense here with the Los Angeles Rams. It's important to bring this up. Sam Darnold was a starting quarterback last year with the Minnesota Vikings. In the regular season, this defense gave him a lot of problems, and they beat the Minnesota Vikings. In the postseason, he got sacked 9 times in the first game, and the Rams won that matchup in convincing fashion. Now, the circumstances were a little bit different in that matchup. They had to play at a neutral setting because the wildfires were going around in Los Angeles at the time and all over California. But at the end of the day, that front seven got home to Sam Darnold, and he did not look the same when he faced the Rams. That's going to be the key here. Now, he's gotten the football out quicker this year with Seattle, the sixth quickest release in the NFL this season up to this point. But you can still get interior pressure on the Seahawks. They have 2 very good tackles, Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross. But look at someone like Poona Ford and Kobe Turner. Poona Ford is not known for being a pass rusher. He's known for being a run stopper. But it doesn't mean that he can't eat up double teams like how he has this season and free up rushing lanes on the outside for players like Byron Young, and the same with Jared Verse. And it's not always about sacks here. If you can put a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold from the interior, you play that contained coverage on the outside, he basically plays into your hand. The secondary and the talent isn't the best with the Rams this season, but you can't sleep on them because they're 11th in total defense, 18th in passing defense, but they will come up with some key interceptions because of this pass rush, and they're 9th in rushing defense. And this is the one thing here with Seattle. Their run game has not been consistent this season with Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet. They'll have a game to where they look very good. The next week, they may only average 3 yards per carry. Take away that run game and make them one-dimensional. What bothers me in this matchup for the Rams, Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's just like Puka Nacua. You can move him all over around the field. He can be an outside wide receiver. He can be a slot wide receiver. And if you have him inside the slot, I don't know a player right now with the Rams that can guard him one-on-one in those tight situations. I know that Darius Williams has had some solid moments this season, Kobe Durant and Quentin Lake. They're not scrubs. But right now, statistically, this is the best wide receiver in the NFL. He leads the league in receiving yards. And if you paid too much attention to him, AJ Barner can kill you on the back end as a tight end, and Rashid Shaheed over the top, who Seattle made a trade to bring in a week ago from the New Orleans Saints. So now you have to guard all over the field here, all 3 levels, underneath, the intermediate routes, and over top. They need this pass rush to get home. But Byron Young has been phenomenal this season. He has been one of the best pass rushers in the NFC for quite some time now. He is 4th in sacks with 9. And when you look at someone like Jared Verse, he may only have 4 sacks on the season and 3 forced fumbles. That pressure rate is high, just like how it was last year when he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a phenomenal player. And be on lookout for Nate in the interior of this linebacking room. And you have Braden Fisk, who is also a phenomenal run stopper, and he can get to the quarterback as well. But the 2 players to look out for in terms of being impact players in the front 7 would be Byron Young and Jared Verse. But Poona Ford and Kobe Turner, amazing run stoppers. And Kobe Turner, he can get to the quarterback on a consistent basis. I like the Rams in this one. I don't think that they will get blown out. This will be a close game. But I like the personnel that they have. This is one of the best teams that Sean McVay has coached in his career up to this point. And I also wanted to touch on this before we talk about Sam Darnold and the Seahawks here and their side of things. And the 2 losses this year, you can make the case with the Rams that they beat themselves. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, you had this game won. You won the first, second, and third quarter, but you let Jalen Hurts and company come back late in this matchup, and you still had the chance to go out there and to win this game. But the potential field goal, game-winning kick, it gets blocked. They take it to the house. You lose that game 33-26. A couple weeks later, against the 49ers, you lose in overtime. 26-23. You have the fumble with Kyron Williams in the red zone. You have the 4th and 1 situation. Just a bad play call by Sean McVay, and the kicker did not help you out in that game either. So you really need your special teams unit to step up in this game. And if it's just those little things that you clean up on, you could be potentially undefeated entering this matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. But let's talk about Sam Darnold and Seattle here. Just like the Rams, one of the best teams in the NFL at the moment. Since Mike Macdonald has been the head coach with this organization, on the road, he's 11-1. But that one loss on the road came against Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, he did have Geno Smith as a starting quarterback, who was a turnover machine last year, who had 21 passing touchdowns to 15 interceptions. Sam Darnold this year has played on an MVP level. He has been tremendous. And the offense is taking a turn for the better. And let's start with the offense here. Early on this season, Clint Kubiak was very conservative. Whenever they got a big lead, he'll just run the football, settle for the points, kick the football away with the punter, play through our defense. And you saw against the Cardinals, you almost let them come back and win that game Thursday Night Football. And week 1 against the 49ers, they really got you beat. You lost that game 17-13. Sam Darnold did not play bad, but the play calls were so conservative in that game. With Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigba, just a bunch of screens. They were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. If you go out there and you stretch out the field in that matchup against the 49ers, you potentially go out there and you win that game. And entering this matchup, you may only have 1 loss in the season. And against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you lost this game 38-35. It came down to an interception on a defensive lineman's helmet from Sam Darnold. That was just bad luck. And you saw how back and forth that game was. So if you clean up on those mistakes, just like the Rams, maybe you're undefeated entering this game as well. But the thing here with Seattle is to take care of Sam Darnold from the interior. He has done a great job this season of getting the football out quick. The 6th fastest release in the NFL, and this was Achilles' heel with him last season with Kevin O'Connell. But Kevin O'Connell called a lot of routes deep down the field with Justin Jefferson, and the same with Jordan Addison. So it's important in this matchup, if that pass rush is getting home consistently through the interior, you have to neutralize that pass rush and tire them out and use misdirection to your advantage with Jackson Smith and Jigba, the same with Cooper Kupp, and having someone like Rashid Shaheed over the top. And that was a great trade for Seattle, by the way. Rashid Shaheed, he's going to hit the ground running. I know last week he only had 1 catch, but listen to me. This man played all of last year with the New Orleans Saints. His offensive coordinator was Clint Kubiak. He knows the system. He knows the coach. He's one of the best deep threats in the NFL. You could say at this moment, he is the best deep threat in the NFL. But it's more than just catching those passes deep. You can use him as a decoy. He can take away a hard corner and a safety. And one-on-one underneath is Jackson Smith and Jigba. That is what you want. One-on-one underneath is A.J. Barner. And then you have Cooper Kupp on the outside. He's still one of the best route runners in the game. And that's also a storyline to bring up. The Rams moved off of Cooper Kupp. He wanted to stay in LA. He won a Super Bowl championship with this organization. Triple Crown winner, one of the best seasons that we have seen in league history. That year that Cooper Kupp had. But they moved on from Cooper Kupp because of the injuries to bring in Davante Adams. So you guys know for sure that he wants to go out there and he wants to stick it to his old organization. But it comes down to that offensive line protection. I'm not worried about Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross in this one. They're very good tackles. Gray Zabel should be able to play in this game at the left guard position. You selected him in the first round. But you have Olu at the center position. Can he step up against Kobe Turner and Poona Ford? We'll see. But having those players on the outside around Sam Darnold in a system that you can dink and dunk your way down the field and eventually you can take the top off the defense with Rashid Shaheed because Sam Darnold is a top 3 quarterback and deep passes completed this season is amazing to have. And Torrey Horton, he is questionable for this one, but he has 5 receiving touchdowns on the season and 161 receiving yards. He plays so well in the preseason, they moved on from Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So this is now a complete offense for Seattle. In the run game here with Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet last week led the way against the Cardinals. 83 rushing yards on 14 carries, 6 yards a carry, 1 rushing touchdown. Kenneth Walker, 67 rushing yards, average 5 yards a carry. That was the key in that matchup against the Cardinals. Because the one thing about Seattle here, they are a very weird football team. Their offense is buttoned up. Their defense is buttoned up as well, and the same with their special teams unit. So they can score on you with their special teams, like how they dominated the Saints early on this year. Their defense can come in and they can feast on you, which they've done against the Washington Commanders this season and against the Arizona Cardinals. And then their offense, they can take the top off the defense. But Sam Darnold only had 12 pass attempts last week. He was 10 to 12. He did have 2 fumbles. You can't have this in this game against Matthew Stafford and the Rams. The more times that you give him, the more chances that you give Matthew Stafford to go out there and to score on you, he is going to make good on that. So you can't have those costly turnovers in this one against a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. But offensively here, they're set. The only thing I'm worried about is the interior of the offensive line protection, and can the run game be more consistent in this matchup against the Los Angeles Rams, who pride themselves on stopping the run and getting to the quarterback with their front 7. Now defensively here, this defense is amazing. I know that they're 19th in passing defense. That's a catfish stat. They've dealt with injuries in their secondary. Mike McDonald has done a tremendous job with the players on the back end of this defense. With Kobe Bryant at the safety position, Devin Witherspoon, Nick Nwori. They can all give you problems on the back end. And this is the ideal secondary to have against Matthew Stafford, who is red hot right now. You need to switch guys around on the back end. And the one thing with Coach McDonald, he has done this dating back to his time with the Baltimore Ravens. He's given Patrick Mahomes problems in the past. The same with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So we know against some of the top quarterbacks in this league, he can give them problems on paper. But the players, they have to do their job in this matchup. You cannot let Davante Adams kill you in short yardage. And in the red zone, you have to double cover him. You have to put extra bodies on him. Majority of the targets in the red zone and on 3rd down are to Davante Adams from Matthew Stafford, while Puka Nacua can be used as a decoy just like Jackson Smith and Jigba. You have to have those players on the back end. And the penalties cannot hurt you in this matchup with pass interference, because if it does, I promise you, Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams, they'll bleed the clock. They may play situational football. If they get the ball at halftime, they'll take 3. And they're fine with that. And they'll try to score at halftime. So those penalties just can't happen in this one in crucial situations. And I'm talking about one player here, and that's Tyreek Woolen. The talent is still there. He is still a talented cornerback. He's had some good moments this season. He's had some bad moments. He hasn't been the same player since his rookie season. He cannot tug at the line of scrimmage with these wide receivers. He has to play through his body, not play through his hands. And when he's played through his body, he has been a very good cornerback to have. The one thing that does concern me with Seattle on the back end of this defense is Julian Love. Julian Love is a very good safety. He hurt his hamstring a couple weeks ago. He's on IR right now. Pay attention to that in this one. But this front 7, tremendous. With Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, Byron Murphy last year missed time with a hamstring injury. When he was on the field, they had one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL, and we're seeing his impact yet again. And not only is he an elite run stopper, he's done a very good job this season of getting to the quarterback. He has 5 sacks on the year. He can eat up double teams, and he frees up those guys on the outside in one-on-one situations. DeMarcus Lawrence this year has had a career resurgence. 4 sacks on the year, but he had 2 touchdowns last week against the Arizona Cardinals. We know that he's not going to go back there and get to the quarterback on a consistent basis, but he can seal the edge. He can put a lot of pressure on you. He's one of those players, when we talk about having hard edges and going out there and stopping the run and playing fast, that's the definition of that. So having him mixed in with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams on this defensive line is amazing to have against a team that can run the football like the Los Angeles Rams. And you have Ernest Jones. Now, Ernest Jones on the season has been a very good player, even dating back to last year, 3 interceptions on the year. He did suffer a knee injury against the Washington Commanders, so he's questionable for this matchup, and that happened 2 weeks ago. But if he can play in this one, the impact that he also has is major. When they made the trade to bring him in last year, the Russian defense took a turn for the better, and their passing defense did as well underneath. He's a player to look for in the middle of this defense if they run a bunch of shallow crosses with Devontae Adams and the same with Puka Nacua. Boye Mafe can get to the quarterback in the same with Uchenna Nwosu. And Mike Morris is a slept-on player. Very good run stopper. He does what he has to do. He's not going to go out there and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But in terms of stopping the run, he's a solid fit. And Derek Hall, the run stopping ability has been better this season. But that's why they brought in DeMarcus Lawrence, so he can just be the do-it-all defensive end. If it's 3rd and long, be on the lookout for Derek Hall. He was a very good player last season and has been very good this season as well. Personally, for me, this is my game of the week. I know that Sunday Night Football, we have the Philadelphia Eagles and we have the Detroit Lions, but they could have easily put this game in that position. With all that being said, it's going to be a close matchup. The Rams are the home team. Matthew Stafford's playing at an elite level right now. You guys know that I love Sam Darnold. I think that he'll have a very good game in this one. It's going to come down to 3 points. I'm taking the Rams to win this game 30-27, but it can go either way. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have taking this game? The Rams or the Seahawks? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.